क्या जरूरत थी छोरे से इतना गुस्सा करने की? जरा सी बात तो थी। 10 रुपए के लिए छोरे ने भूखा मारेगी क्या?
Are you facing similar challenges at your home? Comment below yes. Many parents ask me that we are trying to discipline the child at home, but the grandparents are interfering and it becomes really challenging for them to discipline the child. Now, grandparents are very important and they play a vital role in your child's life. They offer wisdom, they offer love, they offer a lot of stories about your family history. But when it comes to too much love from the grandparents, it becomes little challenging. Like grandparents offer whatever the grandchild asks. If the child asks for a lot of chocolates or junk food, which is his favorite, they try to offer. If the child wants to see a lot of screen time, they do offer. So what happens is the grandparents try to show over love to the children, which becomes a behavioral issue and the parents try to control. Now here, we need to have the relationship of grandparents, not avoid them, but at the same time, you have to discipline your child. In this video, I'm going to tell you how to nurture the relationship with your grandparents by creating a clear boundary so that you're also able to discipline your child. Myself, Rohini, your natural frequency parenting coach. We have always discussed about creating boundaries with your children, but now we are going to talk about importance of creating boundaries with the grandparents. But first of all, let's understand that grandparents are really loving your child too much, but there can be a limitation in the process where you have to draw a line of acceptable behavior from the child. If the treatment from the grandparents is going to really spoil or make the child addictive, that is where you have to really interfere and make sure to convey your intention in a proper way. Now, setting boundary has become clear, but communicating with the grandparents who might be your in-laws or your own parents who don't listen to you becomes very difficult. Now, I'm going to give you 5 ways where you can communicate with your grandparents, be it in-laws or be it your parents, so that they understand your real intention or your best intention to guide your child. Watch this video till the end because 5th point is the most important one. The number 1 way is communication is the key. I would also mention open communication is the best way where you can convey it to your grandparents. Sometimes we insist our mother, Mama, I'm trying to discipline my child, don't interfere, they don't listen to us. And when you try to implement the same with your in-laws, they don't bother us. So now what happens is you have a tricky way to handle this relationship because they are not taking us seriously. So you have to consider how well it is important in your mind to them for which communication is the best way. Number 2, sensitivity matters when you communicate to them. Now, whenever you're communicating, you have to take into considering 2 ways. One is what is the boundary that you want them to follow. Second, how well you are communicating with sensitivity to them. Because both are elder people, they are from a different generation, they have different views of parenting and they definitely consider that we are doing a wrong way of parenting. So you know all this knowledge and from this knowledge you're going to just talk to them that yes, I know I'm in a current generation, I'm a working parent, I do a lot of mistakes, but still I want to correct my child because that should not affect his future. So this thought process you can convey it to them not through anger, not through any other ways which is going to bother them, but in a sensitive way which will help you have a relationship between the grandparents and the parents properly. At the same time, it is going to manage your child as well. So keep in mind, sensitivity is more important when you are having an open communication. Number 3, identify the priorities which are non-negotiable. Now, in terms of establishing a boundary, you need to have some non-negotiable boundaries, which I would say the most priority ones. Now, grandparents are offering a lot of food which are junk foods, lot of screen time which is not good for the eyes or which is going to distract the child. These are the 2 important areas which are completely non-negotiable. But there are times when they want to enjoy with the grandparents listening to stories or enjoy with the grandparents going to a park. All that is fine which is going to nurture the child. But anything or any habit which is going to really bother the child's mental health or physical health, then you have to have a non-negotiable boundaries with them. But when you are conveying, make sure you have the sensitivity in the mind. Number 4, maintain positive relationship with your grandparents and support them. As parents, we want our children to be taken care by the grandparents, but we want them to take care in our own terms, which will definitely not happen. So what we can do is allow them to handle in their own way, but you have to have the restriction only in the non-negotiable areas, and other areas you have to allow them to be free. But also ask them to share a lot of stories about your life or stories about their life. Ask them to play with them rather than giving phone with them. Ask them to spend a lot of time communicating with them, because nowadays children don't want to spend time by communicating with others. They want to spend just time being alone watching TV. So reverse this pattern with the help of a grandparents. But at the same time, whenever the grandparents are doing what you say, appreciate them and give them a gift so that they feel happier about themselves. And the second most important is, don't leave your children to the grandparents the whole day or the whole week where they have to take 24/7 of time taking care of your child. Allow them to be free for a while, wherein which you can appoint a caretaker for the child for 2 to 3 hours, or allow the child to play in a daycare for 2 to 3 hours, wherein which the grandparents will have their own time, and this will also help the grandparents feel that they are being supported in the process. Number 5, be consistent. Remember, parenting is a lifelong journey where challenging keeps on coming again and again. We can balance these challenges by consistently implementing the values which we want to help our child to discipline. Now, consistency can be done wherein which you openly communicate regularly about the importance, always giving a parameter. It's not just you one time convey to the parents and they have to follow, one time convey to the child they have to follow. No. You have to repeatedly convey again and again the same thing without getting bored or without getting frustrated, because being consistent is again the next key. As the children grow every year, the challenges along with them keep growing. So establishing the values every year consistently becomes a repeated cycle. So we have to keep in mind that establishing a healthy boundary is not 2 or 3 times process. It's a regular process that you have to keep repeating it again and again and again without getting frustrated. So to conclude all of this, nurturing relationship with grandparents through open communication is really important. But at the same time, setting a clear boundary which is going to help your child discipline them. So let's remember that creating a boundaries for the grandparents is not going to divide the family. Rather, it's going to strengthen the family where the parents and the grandparents both are working towards the welfare of the child and happiness of the child. Therefore, it is very important that you create a harmonious relationship with the grandparents. At the same time, create a non-negotiable boundaries with them, and at the same time, have a consistent measure to discipline your child. If you are facing any challenges with your grandparents, kindly let us know in the comment box. In the upcoming sessions, we'll answer your question. Like this, more videos are upcoming for you in your parenting journey. Kindly subscribe to our channel. Myself Rohini, your natural frequency parenting coach.